well-known and often lamented facts of penal lore. What I'm wondering is why you have any opinion about it at all.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good. But I was just saying to Mr. Dog over here that if it was my barbecue, I'd wait for that old jumbo jet in the sky before I start killing our only leverage.
Shut the fuck up!
Don't you want to get high and get laid? Shit.
Oh, fuck this!
Put the gun down. Put the gun down, Nathan. Pose right. We're going to plan B. Gonna get a refueling truck and a tractor. So get back there and dig the plane out.
All right, folks, welcome back to another exciting episode of Citizen Frame. I'm your charming host, Ciaran. And we just wrapped up an exciting Shark Month and did quite well. So we thank you for all the downloads and all the listeners who appreciated our creature feature retrospective. And we are going to be jumping into Final Destinations coming here soon. I know we keep delaying it, but that's because we're unorganized. But we wanted to pepper in some action films, I think, just because we're coming up to Halloween month. And we got Final Destinations to do. And then we just did Shark Month, which is primarily horror films. So we got to break the cycle there.
Shake things up a bit.
And yeah, so we always talk about 80s. We always talk about our 80s cheese. And I love my 80s cheese. But kind of like music, yeah, the 80s hair band rock, which was kind of cheese, but good, but cheese. And then 90s, you got good music, but it became a little darker, a little edgier. It's kind of what happened with action films. We had Chuck Norris, we had the Cobras, we had the Van Dammes, the Steven Seagals. Now it's seemed to transition to where you had, and not to take away from Van Damme and the gang, they're all there. They're good at what they do, but the cast and the budgets skyrocketed. You had distinguished Oscar-nominated, or if not Oscar-winning actors taking on the roles. And then you quadruple the budget. Stunts became more advanced. And you had a little boy called Jerry Bruckheimer and another boy called Joel Silver, who kind of catapulted action to the new era. And it wasn't cheese anymore. It was more flair. It's more like, I don't know, upscale flair.
Oh, well, I would say upscale cheese because
I wouldn't say cheese at all.
I know there is definitely, but and that's not me dissing it. That's me saying that affectionately, But this film we're about to do. This is a pure 90s cheese fest, but I absolutely love it at the same time. But I do agree that yes, definitely things were upped in terms of budget, bigger actors attracted, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, I don't call it cheese. The reason I say I don't call it cheese is because of the reasons we just mentioned. Back in the 80s, you're limited to what you can do, especially with budgets and the advance in technology when it comes to stunts. Jesus, there are guns for hire in the 80s. Some of these directors, we talked about that with Cobra. Much as I enjoyed the fucking film, was terrible. But you even mentioned A-team shooting. So you have a guy jumping in the air before the explosion even happens. And they didn't have time to do a second take, or they couldn't afford to do a second take. Where this is more crafted. This is more take another shot from different angles. And that's what you got from the Bruckheimer and Silver. I hate saying it. I don't like saying the word because I do like my cheese, but there's a lot more professionalism behind the lens.
Yeah, it's much more polished. I would certainly agree with that.
But that's why it's not cheese. You're confusing cheese with story. I think that's the difference. The story here is batshit crazy,
yeah.
But that doesn't make it cheese. It's the execution that makes a film cheesy.
I think there are different brands of cheese, certainly, in terms of a cheese fest. It takes different types of cheese, including back in the 80s, you had, the dodgy acting, stunts, the A-team type shootouts and stuff. But I would say here, certainly at least in with Con Air, this is A-team in many parts, but on a big budget, if that makes sense.
No, I completely disagree.
I'm much more slickly done.
Well, your cheese is Swiss because it's full. Your theory's full of holes.
No, I'm not. No. My cheese is very
No,
refined. My cheddar.
no, you're not. You're not getting the definition of cheese, but that's all right.
That's my definition.
You're simple.
No, you're a fucking knobhead, but
Wow. I make a nice little banter, good joke, trying to be professional, and you attack me. I would never do that to you.
No.
I would never do that to you.
No, you do it to me every week, every day, practically on text and, across different forms of media. But anyway, I can take it. I am a bit like Cameron Poe, actually. You know what I mean? I just get on with it.
No, you're not even close to Cameron Poe. You're the guy in the dress.
You're fucking...
You're Sally Can't Dance.
Sally Can't Dance is great.
All right. Yeah, we're here to talk Amistad.
What?
Amistad?
No.
It's a joke. We're here to talk Con Air. Con Air. We got our boy behind the helm, Simon West. I like Simon West. Kind of disappeared. There's a lot of TV now. But he's got a pretty good track record. The original Tomb Raider, The Expendables 2, which is kind of the best one. The Mechanic. A cool little Chinese film he did called Skyfire. It's a volcano film. It's pretty good. You guys should check it out. With Jason Isaac is in it. A new retelling of When a Stranger Calls. Actually pretty fair. And The General's Daughter. Very dark, edgy crime thriller set in a military base with John Travolta.
Yeah.
This film, big budget, $75 million, made $225 worldwide. It's beloved. Everyone likes it. I love it. We all like our Con Air. But watching again, I'm going to be honest with you, it dropped some pegs for me. And we'll see why as we dig a little deeper. Before we start, I want to give a little shout out to Phil Swartz. He's an effects man. He was on the set. The poor man was killed.
That's right.
On the set by a plane falling on him.
Yeah.
So, poor guy. And so give him a little shout out there. Goes to show you. And there's another one who was killed on another Bruckheimer set. So, but is what it is. And let's dive into it.
The film is actually dedicated to him as well.
Yeah, of course it should be.
Yeah.
Jerry Bruckheimer. Let's start with him.
Yeah.
Fucking love Jerry Bruckheimer. Fucking love Jerry Bruckheimer. There's two guys called Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. They kind of started out in the early 80s. I want to say they did 48 Hours. I think they did. But their claim to fame was two big hits, which would have been Beverly Hills Cop and Flashdance.
Yeah.
That kind of cat and Top Gun. All three of those came out around the same time. And if you look at Top Gun, and if you look at Beverly Hills Cop 2, and then if you look at Days of Thunder, you can see the transition of the action film getting a little more smarter, a little more quicker, edgier cameras. They work with Tony Scott a lot, who was the king of that. And then eventually Michael Bay would take the reins over.
Apparently, they actually wanted Tony Scott to direct this. He was their first choice. And also you mentioned Jason Isaacs. Apparently he was a choice for one of the main roles, either Cameron Poe or possibly Sarah Savaris. I would have to double check that.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, Don Simpson passed, and so it's just Bruckheimer. This is the first film, which is just the Bruckheimer banner, not the Simpson and Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
The last film that will be The Rock. And so I love Bruckheimer. And I always ask myself this question, and I'll stick by it. Con Air is well received and loved. So is The Rock. So is Face Out. All these action films, Demolition Man. But yet Michael Bay gets pissed on. And I never understood that because Michael Bay just went in the same direction as some of the directors I mentioned, including God rest his soul, Tony Scott, one of my favorites. And he just took the helms, and he's a wonderful action director. Guy knows how to take a shot. But I never understood why Con Air gets all these praise by everybody, but people who like Con Air don't like Michael Bay. And it doesn't make any sense to me because Michael Bay is by far underrated. I don't think Transformers helped him.
What about McGee? I think, just go back a bit. I think Michael Bay has a bit of a bad reputation, but to be honest, I've nothing against him personally. His films maybe wouldn't be my, first choice, but, I've nothing against him. But what about McGee? What do you think of him in terms of action?
Fuck the G.
Yeah.
The guy who did fucking Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. He would be along a similar type banner.
No, he's not even not even near these guys. Not even. He's a poor man's version of the guys we just mentioned.
Okay.
Not even close.
Right.
And that's why he doesn't work. I don't
Yeah.
think he works anymore, does he?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. He may be producing. I don't know. I know. Didn't he do Didn't he do Terminator Salvation? He directed it.
He did Salvation, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one though. I did like.
Yeah,
it.
I think it's underrated.
There's flashes of hope with him, but then he just kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
But no, we got Simon West, Tony Scott, Michael Bay. You had Renee Harlan, who we've talked to quite a bit here recently. You had these just wonderful directors, and Catherine Bigelow would be up there as well, finding their niche through these kind of
Paul
action films.
Verhoeven as well.
Paul Verhoeven, Stuart Baird, who went on. You had Andrew Davis, who did The Fugitive. You had Stuart Baird, who was an editor, who went on to do a wonderful film called Executive Decision.
Yes.
And the sequel to A Fugitive. A lot of people didn't see it. I liked it, called U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, Wesley Snipes, Robert Downey Jr. But my point is that you had A-listers. Everything was A-listers now. And so this has been the longest intro ever, but what the fuck? I don't care. We haven't talked about 90s action. So we got a lot to break,
Yeah.
a lot of ice to break.
With 90s action for me, it's definitely, as we just basically stated, there was more money pumped into it, essentially, but there's still a certain, the 80s is like the prototype for the 90s action, because this here, Connor, is basically a remake in terms of all the beats of Die Hard, but with a plane instead of a skyscraper.
I do not see that at all.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean,
no, there's not. Die Hard is
in terms of the story. This is Die Hard, but with a big plane instead of a big skyscraper. No, seriously, I genuinely would say that.
That's okay. Gosh, you don't know anything about.
What are you talking about, dude? There's a reluctant hero. There's
okay, you can say that about any film.
Not really. No, this is very similar.
No, this has nothing on Die. No, this was not. They weren't Die Hard.
Reluctant hero on the inside, and you've communicating with the cop and stuff, and then the big sort of showdown and stuff, in the streets as opposed to in the plane or the skyscraper. There's definitely similarities.
Let's jump into this before Trevor says anything more stupid.
Not stupid at all. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, we got Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, Cole Meany, McKelty Williamson, Nick Chidlin, Ving Rhames, Dave Chappelle, Ring Tickerton, Steve Buscemi, Danny Trejo, MC Gainey, Monica Parter, and Renoli Santiago, who plays Trevor's favorite character, Sally Can't Dance.
Oh, yes.
These people mix up a great bunch of characters called Poe, Agent Larkin, Cyrus, Malloy, Odell, Bedford, Diamond Dog, Pinball, Bishop, Garland Green, Johnny 23, Swamp Thing, Trisha, and Sally Can't Dance. I feel like we're talking about Mad Max characters again.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great cast.
There's your whole, it's got a pretty fun cast here. You can't fault it. This is John Cusack's first big outing as an action kind of lead. And then you've got John Malkovich. Well, he said this role kind of categorized him a bit, but I don't think it did. He did a movie called In the Line of Fire.
He's
Clint, but that one was a little more darker, a little more real.
John Malkovich to me is a very serious actor, and he sort of went outside the box with this, and good on him. I mean, he's hamming it up no end, and it's just great fun. I would say
since John Malkovich took this role, he admits it.
Yeah,
he does a lot of camp now.
Yeah,
You look at his catalog, a lot of camp.
Yeah.
When before he did this film, you take him more of a serious actor. When he did this,
it opened the floodgates.
Yeah, a lot of camp.
I would say that again, I do love this film, but if you had to nitpick and pick holes in maybe things that do let it down a little bit, I would say there's possibly too many characters in this, and in fact, Sarah Savaris and Diamond Dog, played by Ving Rhames, are battling to be the main bad guy here. But it still pulls together and it still works. But it does sometimes get a bit overload with the characters, I think.
Yeah, it's got some writing issues with the characters, especially with Garland Green, the Buscemi character, and it doesn't make any sense. It should be written out, to be honest with you. And we'll talk about as we dig a little deeper. Let's start with the reality of him going to prison. This would never happen. He would not do any time. It was clearly self-defense with multiple men attacking him. It has nothing to do with his military. He would not, I've Googled this. This is just to get him on the plane. He would not have done 7 years for defending his wife.
His pregnant wife.
Pregnant wife.
Yeah, I know that there, but the film would have ended in 5 minutes in that bar. So let's run with it. This isn't like serious, factual. It's not a documentary, essentially.
So he gets sentenced, and we got the reintroduction to the mullet. Jesus Christ.
Well, again, an 80s throwback. You still got that 80s vibe there with the mullet. I would say as well, I absolutely hate the Leanne Rimes song from this film. I think it's horrible. But at the same time, it works here, even
oh, Jesus
because
Christ.
the film is so cheesy and hammy, and it does actually fit here.
Again, you're using the words that it's not. Yeah, reason number one, it's not really cheesy and hammy. You got pretty ugly characters here,
but it's in the delivery of them.
And I'm watching this again, and guys, I enjoy the film. I'm giving it a pass. It's fucking, it's eye candy is all it is to me now. But it's definitely Bruckheimer's worst action film, I think. Yeah, it'd be up there because of the characters and the inconsistency with the characters. And the only character that they stick true to is Johnny 23, the Danny Trejo character. He's the only character, and Malloy, and the other heroes, they stay true at all. But I'm talking about the core villains here. It's inconsistent. You have a very ugly character in the Buscemi character. He's playing Garland Green, who kills girls. And then you have this scene where it should have been written out with the little girl. And there's inconsistency with the MC Gady characters who play Swamp Thing. You have, who's the pilot. You have massive inconsistency with John Malkovich. I take that, and I think Diamond Dog and Bedford they kind of keep true to who they are. But at the end of the day, these are ugly fucking human beings.
Yes.
And if you're going to have characters like this, especially the characters I mentioned, this film needed to be darker.
But this film is pure pantomime, and it's all about context. I mean, it's a nudge and a wink. They're not, you know what I mean? It's pure pantomime, no doubt about it. Regarding the Garland Green, the Maryland Mangler character, it's just dark humor. I mean, it's very dark humor. And the scene with the little girl, that's a weird actual redemption arc for him.
That's not to me. I mean, again, this film doesn't need redemption arcs. All right, it doesn't make it. You don't need it. We're not. And when you say dark humor, this isn't dark humor.
It is.
This is them just playing. No, it's not. This is just them playing for laughs. They try to do something edgy with him seeing the girl. It doesn't work in this kind of film. You got to pick one genre in this film. You either go batshit crazy or you don't. This isn't Fargo. Fargo is dark comedy. Right? Fargo is dark comedy for Buscemi. This is not.
This is definitely dark comedy throughout. I mean, there is no way
you're not. This is not the definition of dark comedy.
It is to me.
This is not no, it's not. This is slapstick fun.
But done with very dark characters, so it is a form of dark comedy. 100%.
No, it's not. You don't know the definition of dark comedy.
No, I mean, there's different aspects to dark comedy, and
no, there's not. There's an edge and a bite to dark comedies. This does not have that.
No, that is to me. And it is, but these are in real world terms, these would be like the vilest of vile characters. No doubt about that. But due to the tone and the context of the way this film is delivered, you can't take that seriously because it's a pantomime, and a very entertaining one.
What Bruckheimer does well, and is he always plants the seed. And it's literally paid by numbers. And Bruckheimer knows that. And his directors know that. Just basically like, oh my God, my diabetes are on the plane. Don't worry. We'll get you your insulin once you get on the plane. Oh my God, there's a DEA going on the plane. You can't take a gun. Don't worry, I'll sneak you a gun in.
That won't
That's
crop
not
up
gonna come
again.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They always like, you know what's coming, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just waiting for the pieces to fall. When's the gun going to come into play? When's the insulin going to break?
The bunny, even the bunny, the toy bunny, is a plot device as well to a certain extent, you know?
Yeah. Jesus, the bunny should have a supporting role.
I would say, back to what you said earlier about the inconsistency of characters, I would agree that Sarah Savaris, for someone who's supposed to be a criminal genius, he's very stupid at times. You know what I mean? Especially later on.
It would have been more clever if, he would have known right away about Poe.
Yeah.
And he would have caught that on. He would have caught that. And he would have caught that Chinlin's gone.
Yeah, after he kills him.
Bradford, whatever his name was. He would have caught this all
Bedlam.
on. And it would have been better if there's a twist where he knew Poe. He was playing Poe the whole time as Poe was playing him. That would have been better.
He would definitely should have noticed, whenever they go for essentially the pit stop, the refuel, where the Swamp Things crash the plane. How he didn't notice that Billy Bedlam was missing is stupid for a start, because he was almost like one of his right-hand men. So, that's an oversight. And even when he does realise it, it still takes him a while to work it out. You know?
We can nitpick it, like the 6 off, the 10 on, that whole sequence. Oh, there's a sandstorm coming. How convenient. That's fine. I go with that. And I like the fact that it gives a reason for Poe to stay, because he's not going to leave his friend behind.
Yeah.
Who needs the insulin shot. He also is worried for the girl, which, because of the Johnny 23.
Yeah.
Who's consistently trying to rape her. Again, pretty ugly stuff to be dealing with a film that's just still fucking batshit childish.
I think it's a fine line to walk in terms of, if you're going to, they have to raise the ante and have badasses, proper hard asses on the plane for the sake of drama. So at the same time, it's sort of, I don't know. So you're making them very dark and really ugly people, but at the same time, the tone of the film is very sort of pantomime. So it's a fine line to walk, and I think they just about get it right. Just about. Maybe not all times.
Yeah. There's a couple of execution scenes I don't like. Not literally execution. The way the scene was portrayed. And that's especially the DEA. For a guy who's badass, he gets on the plane. He's kind of an idiot for how he handles that.
He's a waste of space, yeah.
He's barely out of, as he's getting uncuffed by Pinball, he's barely out of the cuffs, and he grabs the gun and starts, and why would you take a prisoner, a hostage? Because that's not going to work.
I think he's basically another plot device to get that extra gun on the plane.
Yeah, I suppose, which I did mention earlier. It was blatantly thrown in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but it's still fun. I don't want to tear this thing to shreds, because I do enjoy the film. I just think watching it again, it's the least of my favorites. I do like the character of Swamp Thing. Again, a little inconsistency with him. He seems kind of likable, but he's kind of a pig, I guess. I just didn't, I know they're trying to make comic book character out of him. He's the pilot. He has some good jokes. He has good banter with Poe, even when he knows Poe's the good guy now, especially with the Vegas landing. We'll get to that. But it just seemed...
What about Malloy?
I just think they should... Was that?
What about Malloy, Chief O'Brien from Star Trek? He's a complete asshole.
Yeah, I didn't really... Actually, of all the characters, he has the best arc.
He has a redemption arc. Yes, he does.
Yeah. Yes, he's the one. The one. But no, none of this film isn't about arcs. We don't need them. We really don't need them. The only one who has an arc here is Malloy. Everyone else doesn't. Because they don't redeem themselves. They're all pigs. But Poe has always been a good guy. We know.
Gordon Green does. I'm going to stick that. The Maryland Mangler. He does have a redemption arc. He spurs the child. And then...
Oh, what a nice person.
I know that there, but in a warped, sort of twisted sort of way in the world of this film, that is technically a redemption arc, No,
I don't see it. That scene should have been written out.
I disagree.
Period.
I disagree.
Period.
And it also sets up his little thing at the end, where he's basically the only one that gets out alive, apart from Poe.
I do like the execution portion of the timing of the film. And what they do is the first half of the film is them getting to Carson City. And for the first act, taking over the plane, getting to Carson City and switch out the 6 for 10 and get that all done and then fly to the Lerner Airfield. That's the first act. And then the second act is Lerner Airfield, where everything goes fucking batshit crazy.
It's the A-Team, but on a big budget. Yeah.
But it's not the A-Team.
It is, but on a big budget and better. It's more slickly directed and
that
stuff.
would just make it A-Team at all. Let's make it A-Team. it's not A-Team. But yeah, talking about it, I didn't like the pinball death. I thought that was fucking batshit stupid. I do like the comedy relief when he gets stuck in the I can't fucking think of the goddamn
the bottom part of the plane,
the wheel,
and then gets the fucker's body out,
the landing gear. Fucking hell,
yeah,
and he gets stuck in the landing gear and thought that was stupid, by the way, but it's convenient, and he writes on the chest.
Yes.
Blah, blah,
and
blah.
actually, did you notice?
And he chucks him, and he got the people going, "Oh, there's a bird shit in my car," and then he plops on the car. First of all, his body would have exploded. So there's no way they'd be able to read what he wrote on that chest.
And you know whose car it is? He drops on Major Briggs from Twin Peaks. So even better, a Twin Peaks reference.
Fuck me.
Don Davis, you call the actor. He was also Scully's dad in the X-Files, and there's a couple of other X-Files actors here, actually. The guy who plays Swamp Thing, and Nick Chinland, who plays Billy Bedlam. So there you go, X-Files and Twin Peaks.
And he takes out Bedford when Bedford finds out that he's been paroled. He goes, "You'll put the bunny back in the box."
Yeah.
Is what it is. I wanted more because these characters are ugly. I think what I would have liked to see more of extremely violent deaths.
Better deaths, like in RoboCop, actually.
Yeah. If you're gonna give us these ugly characters, cartoon-esque, vile characters like they did with RoboCop, then they need to get their comeuppance. And I think a lot of these were too off camera, way too off camera. I think they handle Cyrus pretty well, but when you have, especially with
Danny Trejo,
Dog with Ving Rhames, his is off camera pretty much.
I know.
And then you've got Swamp Thing who gets flooded and thrown out of the fire truck, and these are the core guys. You don't really see anything.
Danny Trejo is probably, certainly on screen anyway, is probably the most unpleasant character. Johnny 24 or whatever you call him. So he could have, I think, Rachel Cotton, is that how you pronounce her name? Should have been the one to finish him off instead of him just dying in the plane crash.
Yeah. I do like when the plane crashes and the cops go, "Is this guy alive?" "No, he's dead." And they pull the body away, but his arms are still
his arms still hanging there. Yeah. I mean, with RoboCop, they're probably the most vile characters I've seen on screen, or some of the most vile anyway, but they die really memorable, gruesome deaths. So it's like the guilty are punished. There's that payoff for the audience. So I think they should have had more of that here.
Yeah, you should have had that, because you would have had, you could work with propellers getting sucked into the engine.
Oh, there's all sorts you could do. Yeah.
A bunch of stuff. There's a great scene when they're flying into Vegas, and one of the best shots of the film. That whole ending is brilliantly shot. They actually shot that in Vegas too.
I know.
At the Sands Hotel when they were demolishing it. But there's a shot where the propeller comes flying through the plane. It's really cool. And it cuts the plane pretty much in half. Someone could have got gutted from that. Give us something.
Yeah, somebody's head could have been like Danny Trejo's head or something. Yeah. There's another X-Files actor, Danny Trejo. He appeared in an X-Files episode.
Okay, nobody gives a fuck.
I do.
So anyways, nobody. Actually, everyone listening, just turn us off now.
Right, okay. Right.
Anyways, so their whole thing is to get Francisco from the Carson City, and then they get to the airfield, and then Francisco, drug mule, whatever he is, drug czar, he's got a plane waiting for them, and he's going to bring a handful of the prisoners back with him.
Yes.
And he ends up obviously as they. I do like when the plane crashes at Linfield, and they see all the cars coming. They see Malloy and the team coming, right? And like, oh my God, how often? And he's the guy's on the tower. He screams, they're coming, they're coming. How long do we got? Oh, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, guys, pull the plane out. So they got 10 minutes to dig out the plane because it's embedded in the dirt, and then pull it out of the dirt and they get it upright so they can fly it out of there. And they're going to do this in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and
this is the longest 10 minutes in film history.
Yeah, I was going to say that there it is extended, and in fact, I think they even say it. There's a line that actually references something like that, where it says, "Yeah, give or take," or something like that. But it's not 10 minutes essentially. It's like a bit more like half an hour.
There's a scene where Dog, and at this point, even over Cyrus, is probably the more violent. He wants to execute the police.
He's more of a badass, I think.
And he wants to execute him. Poe says, "Well, you do that, then you're gonna lose our leverage. You don't want to do this." And then Cyrus is like, "Yeah, man, that makes sense. We're not gonna do that."
More stupidity from Cyrus.
Yeah. Again, there should have been a moment where he puts the pieces together, or even a look that he gives Poe that Poe doesn't see, where he's caught on.
There sort of is, but it's not. It's more like a look where I might suspect something here, but he's meant to be a criminal mastermind and a genius. He should have not just here have worked it out, but long before.
Yeah, like I said, I know it's a dumb fun film, and we'll go with it fine. But there's nothing wrong with throwing the audience a curveball where he knew the whole time Poe was a good guy.
Yeah.
And the audience can go, "Oh, that makes sense," because A, Cyrus is brilliant, and also it makes sense why he let Poe do this and Poe do this. He was just, playing with his food. He was toying with him before he attacked.
It was part of his master plan where he needed Poe to do this to get to this, so then he would pull the rug, and that would all work out in his favor type thing. Always about 3 moves ahead, but we don't get that.
I do like the ambush they have with the cops. Again, 10 minutes. They dig out the plane, pull out the plane, which I don't know how they did, but they did it. And then they they set up little traps for the cops. So now it's nighttime.
Yeah.
It's like,
but
what the fuck?
I was more distracted by the fact that, like, a bunch of men, no matter how hard-ass and badass they are, can, along with just a tractor, pull this massive plane out of the sand with a bunch of ropes. It's just like, that's not going to happen. I know they're tough guys, but they're not that fucking tough.
Yeah. Now, they take off. Don't know how, but they eventually they take off, and they're going to crash land. They got no choice. They got to crash land in Vegas.
Steve Buscemi singing. He got the whole world in his hands.
It's now stupid. And so they crash, and then after the plane finally crashes and stops, then there's the motorcycle fire truck scene.
Yep.
I mean, if you want your action eye candy, this is golden. This is the golden. I mean, it's so pleasantly stupid that you can't look away. And I think that's why I question people's hate on Michael Bay, where Michael Bay is smarter when telling these kind of stories. But to each their own, I guess. Again, we could go back and we just talked about the deaths, and Buscemi survives at the end, which I thought was stupid. And I just think, for all the money you're spending on these incredible elaborate crashes and sets and chase sequences, which look really good. I mean, again, using models with a little bit of green screen, could barely notice it with the plane a little bit, but no harm done. You could have given us, let us see fucking Cyrus. Let us see Cyrus's head explode.
Yeah.
Let us see that, for Christ's sake.
Well,
let us see Ving Rhames fly off after the motorcycle supposedly engulfs him in flames. Let us see him on fire. Do something.
I mean, and another draft of the script would have been fine. I mean, we're probably being a bit harsh here, but it is true. But I still really enjoy and find this thoroughly entertaining, this film. I mean, it is completely stupid and completely over the top pantomime, but there's just some really sort of fun and likable about it.
Like I said, I still like the film, but at the end of the day, there's better out there that people forget about. And we'll probably eventually get Face Off was batshit crazy as well.
John Woo.
Yeah, Broken Arrow, John Travolta, which I liked. So, and those films don't have the staying power, even Face Off doesn't have the staying power for some reason as Con Air. And I don't know why.
I think it's probably the completely over-the-top, larger-than-life characters. And yes, there is inconsistencies there with them, but I think they are so over-the-top and in your face. They are so memorable. Plus, it's the whole film is completely tongue-in-cheek, and it's just a popcorn action film with real dark humor in there, and it's just a bit crazy. And I think I certainly appreciated it at the time. And revisiting it, I still find it very entertaining. And actually got quite nostalgic watching it. And it brought me back to when I did first watch it with my mates on video back in the late 90s. I think it would have been 98 or so. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this.
Yep, a lot of people would agree. Con Air is a fan fave of the 90s action genre.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up. We got another 90s coming to you. Don't know what one that is yet. I would almost want to stick with planes.
Right, so it's plane month then? We're moving into plane month?
We could do Executive Decision and like Air Force One.
Plane month?
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Just call it plane month.
Okay, with plane month.
Yeah, and then we'll review some old episodes of, I don't know, Airwolf.
So we'll probably do like Air Force One, and Executive Decision I think is an underrated gem. It got lost in the shuffle, but one of the biggest, ballsiest moves in cinema history happened in Executive Decision. And it'll be fun to talk about.
Let's do Snakes on a Plane as well if we're going to do plane month.
If we do Snakes on a Plane, the problem with, how many do we got? We got so many. Oh, fuck, I don't give a fuck. It's plane month, guys.
well, here, we'll have to do planes, trains, and automobiles,
No.
I'm joking.
No, okay. And then we will end with plane.
Yeah.
With Jared Butler.
Airplane? What? Airplane, Leslie Nielsen?
Oh, my God. All right. So there you go. There's our next lineup. It's plane month. We had that all planned the whole time.
Oh, dear. And we're accusing other people of being cheesy and ropey. What?
You're fucking terrible at this. We're terrible. All right. So next up, Executive Decision. Kurt Russell. That's all you need to hear. The great action star, Kurt Russell, making the transition from 80s action to 90s.
It's plane month on Citizen Freedom.
Yep. All right, guys, give us a shout out. And you can certainly yell at us if you want, because we will be getting to the final destinations, I promise. Give us a shout at Citizen Frame _podcast on Instagram and, of course, on Facebook. That's all we have for you. We're going to wrap it up. Take care of yourselves. Be good.